First time ever. And really last. I remember we played in Atlanta. Had no feel for the game, you know. This wasn't a good time to be out there. Never had that before.
That night he threw a pass. I'll never forget, he threw a half-court pass behind his back for a layup. And if you blurred your eyes, you squinted your eyes, it looked like magic. And it was Larry saying goodbye.
Let's get it. We back with the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird Courtship A Ride with Basketball documentary. This is part 4. So if you're new to the channel and you ain't seen the last 3 parts, go ahead and check out my channel. Go to the Larry Bird playlist, and the last 3 videos that we did so far are the last 3 parts. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button because we always dropping some more Larry Bird on this channel. Somebody requested that I check out some Michael Jordan, so here in a couple of days, I might be looking up some Michael Jordan and dropping some Michael Jordan content. But to be honest with you, Larry Bird is where it's been hitting at on this channel. So we going to stick with, if it ain't broke, we ain't trying to fix nothing. But please drop something in the comments if y'all want me to do some other videos, because I do not mind doing them. But we just got to keep sending them likes up, and we got to keep coming back and commenting. And, you know, that way more people can come to the channel and check us out. But I don't want to talk y'all heads off. Let's get to this video. This is the last part, and it will be the longest part. So be prepared for me not to be talking as much.
I can remember in the locker room, I think it was Jack McMullen came up to me and said, Isaiah just said, boom, 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 boom. And I go, so?
He didn't care. He didn't care. Everybody else around him cared very deeply in the days and weeks as it turned out ahead.
I mean, the media made it out like it was something. But it didn't matter to me what Isaiah or Dennis Rodman said. And it still don't.
That's what's up.
It has no bearing what I do in my life.
He doesn't see race. He really doesn't. And he could have. This guy grew up poor, white, in southern Indiana. Southern Indiana, the home, by the way, of the modern Ku Klux Klan. How he managed not to be affected by the cultural milieu that he grew up in is, I think, a miracle. To me, it's inexplicable.
When I was in about 6th or 7th grade, I couldn't wait till school to be over because I knew over on the courts, the waiters from the hotel would be over there. They were black, older, and they let me play. I always looked at that as I got an opportunity to play against a black man, and they treated me good. I couldn't wait to play against the best, and at that time, they were the best.
And in 1987, as Bird vied with Magic to be the best, the flap over Isaiah Thomas's racially fueled remarks forced Bird to address his least favorite topic at the worst possible time.
That's why he was so good. The man was outside that hotel getting buckets with some of them older kids, and y'all know how that be. We already talked about some of that in the last video, in the last part, maybe the first part, but he was out there getting it in with them older kids that had that kind of like that little swagger, and he started at an early age. That's what's up, though. Shout out to Larry Bird.
I had to go to a press conference when we was in LA trying to get ready to play the Lakers and tell people I didn't care. This don't bother me.
The main thing is if the statements or whatever was said doesn't bother me, I don't think it should bother any of us.
From playing all year trying to get back to the finals and play against Magic, this was a distraction.
That's
Bird
maturity.
was facing off against Magic for the 3rd time in 4 years. And if their relationship had softened, the determination to beat each other had not. As Game 4 proved, the level of competition between them was higher than ever.
Bird played awesome down the stretch of that game.
Trailing 2-1 in the series, the Celtics were down by 1 point in the final minute of the game. But Larry Bird wouldn't be easily vanquished.
Open his aim. Bird goes for 3.
That's his favorite spot to shoot at. If you watch his highlights, that's his favorite spot to shoot at, on that left side of the wing.
With 7 seconds left, though, the Lakers still had life.
Oh, this when Magic hit that
3
hook
years
shot.
earlier in the '84 finals, Magic had
Hit
flubbed
one
a
of
similar
these.
situation.
Hook shot.
But this was a different Magic. one with a whole new bag of tricks.
My man switched to Kareem, and Kevin McHale jumped out to me. As soon as I saw Kevin, I said, oh, I'm taking him.
You know, Magic puts it on the floor, a couple head and shoulder fakes, and he raised up in the air. And there was nobody that was going to get that shot.
Kareem was wide open. I like how they give it to him when he make it.
After they called timeout, thinking there's still a shot here. Celtics may still win this game.
Well, they set up a great play. Bird walked Worthy all the way up, forced the denial all the way up.
We've done it before. Clear everybody out, go to the ball, break to the corner.
He caught it here, and as he caught it, all he had to do was turn. And he just turned, and he just let this thing go.
Bird fires it.
Got a wide open look, couldn't believe it.
And I'm standing right there, it is straight as an arrow.
Dead on.
And the Lakers have won.
They were lucky because it was right on line.
He looked at me like, how did you ever leave me that wide open?
You gotta be kidding me.
Too much on it, too much.
Changed the whole series.
The Lakers won the series in 6, and in the aftermath of a year in which Magic had won his first MVP, the rivalry suddenly took on a new tone.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
I was shocked that he said it, because I thought to myself, maybe this is the beginning of a new era that's not going to include him. It was the passing of the torch a little bit.
After vanquishing Bird in '87, Magic wasn't done winning. The following year, he squared off in the finals against his good friend Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons, beating them to become the NBA's first repeat champions in 2 decades. By the dawn of the 90s, he'd won 5 titles, played in 8 finals, and equaled Bird's MVP tally of 3. But the more Magic won, the less Irvin seemed to be around to reap the spoils.
Once I tasted the champagne and the championship, I wanted more of that and more of that. So Magic kept growing because we were successful. And the persona and all of that came with that.
The Prince of LA was now the king. And in Hollywood, being royalty had its perks.
What was Irvin Johnson's vice? Now, you know my publicist wants me to say winning. But women loved Irvin.
Back then, before voicemail, they used to have these mail slots in the hotels where you leave your key. And when we get into a town, Irvin's mail slot would be so packed, and it would be just Susan and a phone number, Linda and a phone number, Joyce and a phone number. I mean, that was every city, every time.
I was on top of my game as Magic, so I needed all that around me at that time.
Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, Magic. 12? Come on, that's excessive, bro. You was doing your thing, though. You was doing your thing. You was doing your thing, man. But doing your thing got you caught up. Y'all know what I mean.
The women, this, the that, Hollywood.
Magic was living in a context of sybaritic excess from the minute he walked in the door, and he developed a sweet tooth for it.
Sex with several women at the same time.
Yeah. Like I said, women have different fantasies. Some want to be with 2 or 3 at a time. You know, one time I had 6 at one time. That's just...
I really...
I'm baffled. Put that in the documentary? Come on, man. Send them likes up, man. Send them likes up, send them likes up, send them likes up, man. Thank you for telling me to watch this video. Now I know why my dog Magic Johnson contracted an STD that he could never get rid of at such an early age in his life. Come on, man. 6 at one time? 6 at one time? I thought I was the only person that wanted to do that. Oh, my bad. It was too much information. My bad, y'all.
really do believe he looks upon Magic Johnson as a movie character he played. I think Irvin got overwhelmed in LA by what it meant to be a star.
That's probably true that the Magic ego swallowed Irvin a little bit, but that's okay because I couldn't win 5 championships without that.
Through all of this haze of women and money and fame and fortune, he still kept basketball at #1. He never seemed to lose that focus.
Larry had 2 jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball.
And come home on the weekend and it was black and swollen, and he'd sit around on the weekend and put that boot on and go again.
Shout out to his dad, Joe Bird, man, the late Joe Bird, man. Taught Larry Bird, one of the best players, if not the best player ever to touch a basketball, be in the NBA, whatever the case you want to call it. Taught that man some real work ethic, determination, courage, bravery, everything you could think of when it comes to positive words that defines a person's character. Shout out to Larry Bird as well for, just still sticking through it, because I know that took a toll on him physically, but also mentally as well. And anything about mental problems that take a toll on you and it starts to have an effect on your attitude. But from my understanding of all the videos that I watched, Larry Bird never was the type person to let his attitude change to being a person who was bitter to people around him. But hey, drop some in the comments if you got a different thought about that, what you think about what I just said. Also, if you're still here, like the video. Let's get up to like 20 likes again today. Really it's 15, but we've been hitting 20 so good. Let's get to 20 likes again. Drop some comments, another documentary y'all want me to watch. Keep the pace going, y'all. We got to keep the pace going because it's the last one.
If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine. So it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability. That's like getting your finger stuck in a door and somebody's still pushing on the door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
Every time I would play, I was wondering if I was going to be in a wheelchair. Was I ever going to be able to, walk on the beach or hold my kids?
His pain and his quest for basketball became all-encompassing. Very few people really knew what Larry was living with, because this was Larry's issue, and there was no sharing of his pain.
I probably should have retired in 88, 89. But it's that competition. Maybe one more chance, me and Magic get together in the finals. But it never happened.
Thought it did.
I'm sleeping, really, laying down, just waiting on the game, and the phone rings, and the voice says, "Hey, you gotta come back to LA." And I said, "Okay, why?" "Well, I can't tell you until you get to LA." So I said, "Okay."
2 hours later, he was in the office of Lakers team physician Michael Melman.
Dr. Melman starts to tell me that, through the physical that I took, that they discovered that I had HIV. First time ever in my life. I'm such a control freak, right? And do things the right way. I'm out of control. Oh, it was everything. How is it possible? What happened? How did it happen to me? And my mind is racing, and then you're just devastated.
Further complicating things, Magic had gotten married just 2 months earlier, and he feared the worst for his new bride, Cookie, who was pregnant with their first child.
Wow.
I don't know what's going to happen with my wife and my baby. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't have control of the situation, and I was lost just for that next 2 or 3 weeks.
And after Magic learned neither his wife nor his unborn child were infected, he he began revealing the news to his inner circle.
The phone rang, and it was Magic's agent, Lon Rosen. And he said, Irvin's looking for you, call him. And I said, I'll call him when I get to Paramount. And he says, call him now. I said, Lon, I'll call him when I get to Paramount. I'll be there in 20 minutes. And he said, you gotta call him now. Irvin's HIV positive. I remember I was sitting on the bed. I remember standing up at that point. And I said, how is that possible? I'm thinking Irvin's gonna get skinny and die. I mean, literally, that's what I thought. Irvin's gonna get skinny and die.
The first person I thought of was Larry. I wonder what Larry thinks.
The day that I heard about Magic, it just sort of changed my love for basketball. It shook me up. You know, you get that feeling, probably the same type of feeling I had when my father died.
He wants to understand why, you know, how can I talk to him? I need to speak to him. It was just really important for Larry to talk to him.
You know, sort of, I don't know. I wanted to hear it from him, probably didn't believe it.
Calls me and we're talking. You know, it's just, how you doing? I heard about it, and you can almost hear both of us with some tears in our eyes, and I'm choked up because he did call me, and you know, when something happens, to you, and then you find out who really your friends are and people who really care about you. You figure all those battles, all those things we had to go through as warriors, as competitors, and as men. And here this man says, hey, you know what, man, you're okay. And so that was the greatest moment for me too, you know, to have him check on me and to make sure I was okay.
First of all, let me say good after late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today.
It's the only press conference I've ever been in where I've seen reporters cry. I mean, we thought this guy was in total denial.
I plan on going on, living for a long time, bugging you guys like I've always have.
We thought this smile was going to be wiped off his face forever, and he was going to die, but we're going to watch him die in public.
I just remember in the room, he was joking, and I'm sitting there looking at him crying, and he's like, Coop, man, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. It's going to be all right.
I am going to go on, I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to have fun.
Sure, come on. You're going to beat this? And to him, it was a contest. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, AIDS and Magic Johnson, he's same thing. It's just a different game, different rules, but I'm still going to win.
He wasn't planning on going nowhere. Irvin was planning that day to find the right medicine, to eat right, get rest, and live forever. That's what he was planning.
Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
But as Magic put up a positive public face, his nemesis, still out of sorts, shed the mask he had hidden behind for years.
He was visibly like, wow, how could that happen? You know, it really set him back.
Probably the two toughest days I've had since my father passed away, and I've been very depressed and sort of been out of it.
I listened to him talk in this press conference about how devastated he was, and I remember thinking to myself, you know, goddamn, Larry found Irvin.
You know, just out of the blue, something like that happening. It's just, I've never had, other than one other instance, and I was hoping I'd never see that again, because I remember how I felt weeks after that. And yesterday was just a sad day.
And at his game that night, Bird was forced to confront pain he couldn't so easily play through.
Didn't want to be there that night. First time ever. And really last. I remember we played in Atlanta. Had no feel for the game, you know. This wasn't a good time to be out there. Never had that before.
That night he threw a pass. I'll never forget it. He threw a half-court pass behind his back for a layup. And if you blurred your eyes, you squinted your eyes, it looked like magic. And it was Larry saying goodbye.
You know, I mean, this competition thing is amazing. What it does to you. What you put your body through and what you do and what you say and how you feel. And knowing that he's not there wouldn't feel right. But I think it's all them years that, you know, what's he doing? What if he's practicing this hard? I bet he shot 500 shots a day and I didn't get 500 in. It's always that mind games.
Bird played through the 91-92 season, his last in the NBA. But a part of him was already gone.
I didn't check the papers anymore. You know, it didn't matter. I still wanted to compete, you know. But it wasn't the same. It really wasn't.
With the exception of that year when he was called Tragic Johnson because on the basketball court things didn't shake down properly, this is the first time I'm hearing ignorance, hatred, vicious, nasty things.
There was some of my former teammates who had their own little things that they were talking about and why this happened to me.
You know anybody else that's heterosexual that got it? Come on, man. You in denial. I've been called gay, faggot, Irvin's lover. I've been called all that shit.
Lon Rosen got a call from Isaiah Thomas asking, you know, I keep hearing Magic's gay. And Lon said, well, for crying out loud, you know better than anybody he isn't. You're one of his best friends. And he said, well, we don't know what's going on in Hollywood. And the fact that Isaiah was questioning why he got this, I think it was really, really hurtful to him.
You know what? Now I start to understand why a lot of people didn't like Isaiah Thomas. Shout out to Isaiah Thomas for everything he did with Detroit Pistons, you know, my hometown, you know, and helping them get them 2 rings, I think, back to back. But you already folded. When he folded the first time, when he just didn't accept the fact that Bird was, you know, good and threw the race card out there. But now you switching up on your friend in a time of despair. Like, I don't know, maybe he was immature at the time being, and everybody got egos, obviously. So maybe his ego just was in his head. But that was a time right there where, like I say all the time about character, that would have showed exactly who you was, Isaiah Thomas, for sure. For sure, man. Like, folding on Magic like that and questioning all of that extra stuff and not speaking up for him on his behalf, them not good traits and characteristics you see in good people. I'm not saying he a bad person or anything like that, but that don't seem cool to me, yo. That wasn't cool at all.
He used to say, you know, I don't want people to stop shaking my hand and giving me my hugs. He loves to be loved. And that's what bothered him the most, that people would change in relationship to him.
He would show up at the Lakers facility to work out and to shoot some baskets, and he'd try to engage his teammates and say, hey, you want to play a little one-on-one before practice? And, oh, geez, no, I can't. I got to go get taped. Or, oh, geez, I got work to do. I got to do something else.
The worst thing of all of this, that I couldn't play basketball. I don't even think dealing with HIV. It was that I couldn't play.
The game, the surroundings was his whole world. That's his personality. When you take that away, you know, you're hurting. I knew he was hurting in a big way.
The only sex is safe sex, and that's no sex.
As basketball went on without him, Magic performed ably in his new role as HIV educator and spokesman.
I'm helping every way that I can.
But he still pined for the arena, which had made him a star. So when he was invited to play in the 1992 NBA All-Star Game, he jumped at the chance, promptly stealing the show and winning MVP honors. But that was just a warm-up. For the encore, Magic had up his sleeve.
He's not done yet because we're going to go to Barcelona and bring back the gold for everyone here in the United States.
Thanks, Larry.
For the first time ever, NBA players would be competing in the Olympics. And Magic, armed with a message, was not about to miss the show.
It would have proved to people that you were not going to get the disease playing against me. And then also for me too, personally, you know, it was therapy. It was a way to say, man, yeah, you get to do this one more time.
There was also one other perk.
I think playing with Larry was very important. That's something they talked about. I mean, he was going to be on the Dream Team. He was going to be with Michael. He was going to be with Barkley. But he was going to play with Larry.
Magic kept saying to him, I just want to get you out on that court one more time. Let's just have one more sequence like we had all the way back in 1978. But it was interesting that with Magic being the one that was HIV positive, he felt great. He was in the best shape of his life. He had worked so hard to make sure he didn't go there as a token player. And here was Larry, who couldn't even practice, who could barely move.
But you know what? Didn't matter. We were still together. You know, didn't matter. And when he got his opportunity, he switched a few.
Hey, Larry.
Who's taking the last shot with the game on the line?
When I got my opportunity, I still was Magic.
Killed him! Killed him!
14 years after they'd first crossed paths, the smiling kid from Lansing and the shy boy from French Lick were happily back together in Barcelona. But it took just one glance outside their hotel's front door each morning for them to see that as far as they had come, they were as far apart as ever.
The only way you walk out that door if you wanted attention. But I asked this guy, I go, how can you get around this? There's got to be a way. Lo and behold, there was a side door. You can go wherever you want. I was going to tell him about it, but seeing that smile on his face, the closer you got to that front door, come on. He didn't want no side door, you know Irvin. He'd go right in the middle of them.
Turn the long way, sweetheart. There you go.
I'm going out the front because that's who I am. I don't go out the back. I don't go out the side.
That's not me. If you want to go somewhere in a hurry, there's a door that leads you there, and I found it.
I respected him for that. And so, hell, I would try to find a side door for him. And we never tried to change each other. That's what made this relationship great.
One of my pet peeves always is when people say, oh, Michael Jordan saved the NBA. Bullshit. Bullshit. Magic and Larry saved the NBA. That's who saved the NBA. Magic and Larry.
Magic and Larry. Bird and Magic. To the millions who once watched them, now more than ever, they are inseparable. A pair of athletes thrown together by the cosmos to compete. A pair of men who discovered a bond in the midst of that competition. Decades removed from the height of their rivalry, their bond endures. Two impossibly different men with a connection only they can fully grasp.
It's almost like a private little club, and only the two of them are in it. And every once in a while, they need to show up to have a reunion and pay their dues to each other. But they don't need the day-to-day contact that most friends need. It's just not that kind of relationship.
But I always get this good feeling when I know I'm going to see him because he makes you feel good. You know, he really does. He's unbelievable.
He's very private, but if he's your friend, man, you got a friend for life. And Larry Bird is a straight shooter. He'll tell you when he don't like you. That's one thing I wish I could have from him, that he has that I don't have. I wish I had that.
I mean, he walked in here, this whole room would change, and maybe that's what I always wanted to be, but I just couldn't.
Well, that was the last part, you guys. And I can tell you right now, you know, hearing the whole downward fall of Magic and Larry Bird's career after watching the whole video and watching how it came about, I almost cut the water sprinklers on, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I almost cut the water sprinklers on. They might not have been sprinkling for a long time, but it would have been some sprinkles coming out. You know, it took everything out of me. But at the end of the day, watching that they both kept good attitudes about their circumstances, that's just another sign of leadership right there in whole. You know, just shout out to Magic Johnson, Larry Bird once again, to the people that say the NBA. Like dude said, a reporter dude said, I don't know what happened in the Michael Jordan era that made the NBA seem like it was going left or going down the drain, maybe with the views or something like that. I don't know, but everybody knows it was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Like I said, if you've been here this far, I appreciate everybody that came back every day with this 4-part documentary. I hope we can get them likes up to 15, 20 likes. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Everything is greatly appreciated over here. Drop some in the comments what y'all think about this last part of the video. What do y'all think about HIV? What do y'all think about Larry Bird not retiring in 88 and 89 like he spoke about and kept playing? Just, you know, drop some stuff in the comments. See what y'all got on your mind. I think I've said everything I needed to say. Magic Johnson was having a great time. He had he took a picture with 12 honeys. That's enough said. So, what do y'all think about Isaiah Thomas too, folding on Magic Johnson in tough times? You know, it just say a lot about his character. But like I said, I ain't gonna talk y'all heads off. We've been here for a little while, so I appreciate everybody once and last time. Again, we will be back tomorrow. I'm thinking about checking out Larry Bird, 50 Greatest Moments, maybe. Check that out. I don't know. But yeah. It's your boy DtaeNoDinero. Peace. We out. Silly butts.